So I'm on this new journey, this new expedition. It's a little uncharted territory for me, but I'm figuring out as I go, especially with my job now. I
Yeah.
I work with a lot of very large influencers, so I get to see their back end and copy their
Oh, cool.
stuff, but it's it is very, very fun. So
Welcome to the Unstuck Career podcast with your host, Ken Williams. Each week, we move along your path to possibility so you can finally have the life you want. Let's learn how to deal with people you never wanted to be friends with together so you can become unstuck and unstoppable in your career and life. Welcome back to another episode of the Unstuck Career podcast. Today, if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have never said that I would do something like this, but I met somebody on TikTok and here we are having a conversation. Welcome, Logan from Almost Logan.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I know who would have thought we would have met on a social media platform. That's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody just DMing back and forth, and they said, this is not like me to engage in a conversation over social media. And I said, it's not like me either. So I love
I feel you on that.
it. So let's start. We just literally 5 minutes ago, Logan and I met face to face ish for the first time. So I have so many questions, but tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do? I found you on TikTok. So
Mhm.
talk a little bit about how you got started there, what you're all about.
Yeah. I kind of have a funny story actually. So I am still very young, very, very young. I just turned 23, surprisingly enough.
I
And
love it.
so
I have
yeah,
kids
kind of
older
how
than you.
shoot, dang. Yeah, so I started out kind of a crazy fun experience. So my I got my very first job when I was 14 and I started working on movie sets. My
Cool.
parents' neighbor was a movie producer and I got super into film and photography and everything like that. So worked on a bunch of movie sets. That's what I did throughout high school and started working up. And right when TikTok came out, actually, I downloaded it. And like most young people do, I was probably 17-ish at the time, 16, 17. And I I always wanted to become some sort of online creator.
Hmm.
And like I always looked up towards like YouTubers and TikTok creators at the time when they were still brand new. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I have no clue what I'm gonna do, but I think I'm a funny guy, so I'm gonna start doing funny stuff. And you can actually go through back on my old TikTok. I still have some stuff, and you can scroll, and you'll scroll forever. And that's where I got like I say like majority of my fame, which I got
Uh-huh.
maybe like 12,000 followers in like 4 months.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, maybe this is like maybe like a thing. And I got like a couple million views on some videos, and I was like, holy crap, I think this might be a thing. And then I started growing up, and then I was like, all right, you know what? I don't think this is for me anymore. I think I'm done here. And that's actually when I left on my LDS mission.
Hmm.
And so I left on my mission. I was gone for 2 years. For people who don't know what a mission is, it's a I serve the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to teach people about Jesus Christ, and I leave my family and friends for 2 years, and I travel somewhere across the world. And for 2 years, I was in the state of Kentucky, and so I taught people about Jesus Christ in Kentucky, and I did that for two
How
years, and I
was it
left
learning the
everything.
language?
It was good. I was English speaking, but I
But they
felt
talk
like I
funny there.
was. They do talk a little funny, and they even said that about myself. I was like, they're like, you have an accent on you. I was like, promise you, I don't, but but I loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. Met some awesome people there. But yeah,
Yeah.
and then I came back from my mission, and I was like, I don't know really what to do with my life. I don't really know what to do. Maybe I'll go into the movie industry. Maybe my plan B was to go into real estate. And so I kind of did both at the same time. So while I was working to get my real estate license, I was working in the movie industry as what they call a PA, a production assistant.
Hmm.
And I was just helping like on oddball commercials, on random Netflix and Amazon shoots, stuff like that. And so I just kind of did both of them simultaneously. And then I got my real estate license. I was like, I'm going to go all in on real estate now. And so the very first company I applied to is a super mom and pop shop. and they were actually looking for a marketing manager at the
Mhm.
time. It was maybe a team of like 10 agents, and they needed someone to run their marketing. And I was like, I'm interested in marketing. I've done it for movies and stuff on the back, and I know very basics of it. And they actually, funny enough, looked me up on TikTok, and they saw I had a pretty substantial following.
Right.
And they're like, since you have the following, you're in. You got this. You know everything about it. And I was like, I do not know anything about marketing. And so they kind of took me under their wing and was like, we understand that you don't want to go to college. I did not go to college, funny
Mhm.
enough. And they're like, this will be your college experience, and we're going to help you up and learn everything. So I worked there for, oh man, about 2 years, and I helped build the company up where they wanted to sell it off at the end of the day. And so I helped build the company up, and I sold it off, helped them sell it off for them. And that was fantastic. I learned so much about marketing and email flows and everything in between, and how to captivate an audience and stuff like that. And then after that, I transferred, funny enough, into automotive. Um, and so that's where I currently have technically a 9 to 5, but it's a very odd 9 to 5. I set my own hours. I do my own thing. I'm not a sales guy. I get paid salary. Um, and so I started doing stuff in automotive. But my wife was talking to me about a month ago, and she's like, Logan, you have so many business ideas. You have so much stuff that you do like on the side, which I do. I sell real estate on the side. I I've had multiple service-based companies, like a window cleaning company, which I still co-own, and had a detail company and stuff like that. It's just kind of small little service-based companies. Um, and 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 then she's like, why don't you start like going back on TikTok and see if you can create anything? Like, how much money did you make before? And I was
Uh-huh.
like, oh, I don't know, maybe a couple $100 from
Right.
my videos. And she was like, well, let's try it again. Let's see what happens. And I said, okay. So I have literally been at this new version of Logan, the new business TikTok stuff, for about literally like 33 days.
So I
So,
probably found you shortly after because
oh
it's
yeah,
been a couple weeks.
like you found me like it was on my fifth video that
Uh-huh.
I posted. So yeah,
Oh,
like the
cool.
fact that like you reached out so quick, I was telling my wife, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like this is insane. So I'm on this new journey, this new expedition. It's a little uncharted territory for me, but I'm figuring out as I go, especially with my job now.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of very large influencers, so I get to see their back end and copy
Oh,
their
cool.
stuff, but it's it is very, very fun. So
I love it. So a couple things that you said that I just want to emphasize because one of the things that I hear all the time from people is that there are no opportunities.
mhm,
Um, I don't have the experience.
right.
So what I have you ever had? So is your job right now, is it a quote traditional job or is it something that is kind of created based on what you know, what you like, what you're good at?
Yeah, so I work for a pretty large automotive group, and they have about 40 locations here in Utah.
Okay.
And I go to each location and I make sure their marketing is up to par and they're getting enough leads coming in and they're getting enough sales.
Mm-hmm.
So that is literally my whole job, is making sure people are selling cars.
Wow.
Um, and so and that's what I do day to day, and making sure everything is up to par pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do. Technically, you could say 9 to 5.
Right.
I put anywhere from, just depends on the week, honestly, from 20 hours to 80 hours. It just depends on how much work needs to be done. So
Right. So I love that the one of the things that you said was that you were interested in marketing, but you had no experience, and they still
yeah,
hired you,
yep,
which traditional wisdom, conventional wisdom would say that's not possible. So I
oh
love
yeah,
that A, it is possible, and B, you're a living example of that. And then also, you said about a couple of things that you just decided to go all in. You decided I'm going to do real estate. You decided I'm going to do TikTok. And so many people think that they have to have a plan, whatever that plan looks like. I've seen people say things like, Well, I need to create a business plan. I want to start my own business, but I need a business plan. Okay, that's a good idea. But
Yeah.
really, no, you don't, because all a business plan does is it gets you to guess what's going to happen. And you're going to be wrong
Yep.
about most of it.
Very much agree. Very much agree. Yeah. And like I look back on my time with that real estate company who helped me pretty much grow up, and I was like, they took the biggest risk possible with me. Like
Yeah.
this fresh young teenager kid who's like,
Right.
I made it on TikTok, like I have double digits followers,
Right.
5-figure followers. And they're like, you're in, you got it. And I was like,
Wow.
I don't got it, but okay, we're gonna figure it out as we go.
That's so
And
great. So go ahead.
I was like to say I definitely have a different mentality of most people. Is like it it is not going to be perfect, and that's why it's going to be perfect. Like
Right.
we don't need I don't need to know every single little tiny thing that's going to happen. That is why we're here on this planet, right? Is to
Yeah.
learn and grow. And I I tell my wife every day, I think I'm going to be 80 years old, laying wherever, and I'm still going to be learning stuff. I'm going to be YouTubing things like, how do you do this, right?
Right.
Like I love learning stuff and trying new things. So
So talk a little bit about the content that you've been putting on TikTok.
yeah. So the content I've been putting out is I love personally I love deep diving into every single business possible that I could ever find.
Mhm.
And I will research everything possible of how I can start this, how I can do it, how I can make it my own, how much money I could possibly make, how many people do I need to hire, and so what I do is I look into businesses and industries and I say, here's how you can start this exact business. For
Uh-huh.
example, it can be as small as a little side hustle of, hey, be a pooper scooper for an HOA,
Yeah.
or as big as I'm going to open my own restaurant chain type thing like that. And so I go in like super detail as much as I can within a minute and 15 seconds.
Right.
And at the very end of it, I create, just because it's fun for me. It's fun for what I do. I create a whole entire business plan on a Google Doc, and I
Uh-huh.
give that stuff away for people. So if they want to go start their own plan, they have literally no excuse to go start it, because I did all the hard work for them. Right?
Right.
They just actually have to commit to it and go all in.
So here's a situation. I'm gonna put you on the spot because this is fun
Yeah.
for me. And
Yep. Let's do
I
it.
know you can handle it. So I was talking to somebody. This is somebody that my wife works with, and she's been telling this coworker, you need to talk to Ken. You need to talk to Ken. She's got this itch to organize and clean. Those are the things that she loves to do.
Yeah.
But I just have to have this regular job. And I told my wife, so my wife is kind of the intermediary. And I finally
Okay.
had a direct conversation with her this last week. And she said, but the market for organizing it's saturated. And I said, it is not. There's no way that market is saturated. So let's just suppose that somebody reached out to you and said, my happy place is organizing,
Yeah.
organizing closets, organizing kitchen cabinets, drawers, the junk drawer that everybody has, whatever it is. But that's not worth anything. How would you respond to that?
I'm gonna say it is very much worth something. And why, like, I'll try to understand, like, why do you think it's not worth something? If
Yeah.
you like it and you do it and you want to do it every day, what is stopping you from going to your neighbor who is the exact same way? It was like, well, I want my house all organized and I want it all pretty and fancy and Instagram like, but I don't have the time to do so, because
Right.
what they're solving someone's time, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna save them 2 hours of organizing in exchange for what, 120 bucks? I don't know what the price is, but for whatever, right? And that's
Yeah.
going to be well worth it in their
Absolutely.
eyes.
Well, I I have this. This is just my desk. This is just my
Right.
office area. I don't have an eye for design. And so I
Yeah.
have these books here that I wrote because that way I can point to the books that I wrote. And I've got a computer just because I don't have another place to put it. And I can put it anywhere. And I've got this picture from an event that I went to, met author John Acuff. And so that's that picture right there. And
Awesome.
but there are people who would look at that and probably do and say, oh, there's so much you could do, so much you could do to make it look tidy and um, whatever the design words are. Another one, I'm just going to throw this out because I actually did a TikTok on this last week and it was super uncomfortable for me to do.
Yeah.
I'm delivering a TEDx talk soon when this one
Oh,
comes out.
fun.
I
Heck
actually have
yeah.
two scheduled, and I'm 56 years old. I dress for comfort, and
Right.
and I dress in the colors that I like. So this is the t-shirt that I'm wearing right now is my funner. It's better than just fun because I think it's funny. But this is not what I want to go on stage with. And as much as I love my wife, I don't, I think that her opinion is biased. And so I want a non-biased opinion. I want someone to look at me and say, okay, here's the style that would fit your body type, structure, whatever, your skin tone, whatever. Here are the colors that you should use or avoid. Because I don't have, that's not a skill that I have. And I know some people can just look at a situation and say, that's it. I, on the other hand, I'm a coach and I can listen to somebody and I can instantly pick up on, okay, oh, here's your problem. Here's what you need to address. And so we all have talents. One of the things that I've seen with you is that you've got first of all, the curiosity, the depth of curiosity. And maybe it's because of some of the experience that you've had with non-traditional employment that you're not limited by, but I need to have a regular paycheck. I need to have insurance. I need to have somebody else telling me that I'm important or worth some dollar amount or whatever.
Right.
And so um, I, I love the reinforcement that because if you agree with me, I'm going to love that anyways. But the reinforcement that there are so many things that exist that people would pay to have done for them, like the pooper scooper and the HOA.
Yep. Yep. Very much agree. And it's like in our house right now, the reason how I even got that idea is because our HOA, that is one of the perks of our HOA is that they will do the free pooper scooper. So even though it sounds very like it sounds like I'm sitting on my high horse and it's first world problems, but like I don't
Right.
have to pick up my dog's own poop because every week they come by and they do it for me. Granted, it's wrapped in my HOA costs.
Sure.
I'm technically paying for it, but I don't know how much they pay. I just did a quick Google search and found a company that was doing and how much they charge, and I said that is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So it's just like everything is very, very curious to me.
Yeah.
And I like literally I will drive down the street and I will see some new business pop up. I'm like, I'm gonna research into that. Like I have probably 15 videos like locked and loaded, ready to go because I'm just like so excited about it.
That's
So
amazing. So, how do you get your brain to work that way? So instead of seeing that, because so many people, all they see is there's nothing out there. They're looking
right.
at the numbers, the economic numbers, how many jobs were gained or lost in the economy over the quarter or the month,
Yep.
what the president's doing or not doing, what the legislature is doing or not doing. And this is state, federal, local.
Right.
How do you shift the way of thinking so that when you see the opportunities, it triggers something that, oh, here's something new to explore?
Right. Yeah. So just like exactly what you said, it's all about opportunities for me. And there's going to be opportunities in a bear and a bull market, no
Uh-huh.
matter what it is, right? We
Right.
can go back to the 2008 crash. There was still opportunities there. We can go back to the
Absolutely.
Great Depression. There was still opportunities
A
there.
lot of people made a
It,
lot of money in the during
ex,
the Depression.
ex, exactly. And people will always make a lot of money. There is not a perfect time to do it. And so why wouldn't you start now? And there is this, I was on a plane and I was talking with someone and they said, um, he was a kind of a manager of some sort. And he was like, yeah, I had an employee come up to me and was like, hey, like I'm gonna quit because I got a new job offer. They're paying me more money and I'm just gonna go do it.
Mhm.
Well, and he looked at him and said, well, like why now? He goes, well, it's a great opportunity. The market's good. The economy's good. He's like, no. Like if you wanted to go do something, why don't you do it now? Like, why do you have to have this giant plan in order to go do it? Like,
Right.
if I can say to myself, I want to go get jacked. I'm going to go to the gym. Well, do I need this whole plan? No, I just need to start and go to the
Right.
gym because starting is the first hurdle, and it's
Yeah.
just the consistency after that. So going back to your question of how I see the opportunities and how I like switch my mind into it, it's I think it's simple as that. As like I am so invested of like, all right, is there a good time for this business?
Mhm.
Yes and no. Is but it's all about the opportunities, and I love looking at the opportunities because there's hidden gems in plain sight, and it I don't know, it's something about the way I take it, just it interests me.
Yeah. I love it. How do you, and I'm trying to think of how to phrase this question. How do you, how do you make a decision? You said you were going to go all in on the real estate, and then you went all in on the marketing. And what does that mean to you to go all in?
It's put in every single ounce I possibly can be and have no excuses for it. So when I sell real estate, it's well, I'm going to get statistically speaking, I'm going to get told 18 no's before I make a sale.
Okay.
So that means I need to at least try 20 times.
Hmm.
So I need to try 20 times before I see a result. In marketing, it's this is crazy, but in the automotive world, it's about 56 touch points before someone will purchase. So
Wow.
that means they're seeing that same car 56 times. And how I sometimes I have to think again, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so many times before someone will make a purchase,
Hmm.
right? Um, and but it's just the consistency over and over and over and over again. And I have to go all in on that, or else I'm not going to hit them 56 times. And same with my TikTok stuff, right? If if I tell myself, all right, I'm going to post minimum 3 videos a week. Well, I need to post 3 videos a week in order to see some success, right?
Right.
And I'm not going to measure success off views or likes or comments or business downloads. It's not going to be any of that. I measure my success out of the things that I can control. I can control how many times a week I post. I can control how many videos I make.
Uh-huh.
So that is going to be my KPI. So I'm going to post 3 videos a week. And if I do that, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, if those videos only get 5 views, doesn't matter. I posted 3 times a week.
Right. So how do you disconnect? So, and I have, no, I won't set up the question. How do you disconnect from the results? Because it would be really easy when you're on that 17th no, or maybe the 18th no, or the
Yep.
19th no, or the 20th no, to start thinking, well, this is clearly is not working. So how do you disconnect from the results and maintain your focus on the effort that you have total control over, but that's all you have control over?
Yep, exactly. So again, I always focus on what I can control. I can't control if someone's going to buy a house or not, right? But I
Mhm.
can control how many times I send a text message or phone call or email. And so knowing I need to contact them, let's say 20 times before I get a no, then great. But after I get a no, I'm still going to follow up with them every X amount of days,
Mhm.
right? Just because that is kind of how I've been trained, but also I look at it as like, well, every single person I talk to, they are going to need a house eventually. That could be
Right.
tomorrow, that could be in 60 years from now, but
Right.
eventually I'm going to be there and I need to stay top of mind.
Mhm.
Um, and but disconnecting that success, especially on TikTok, where it's that instant gratification,
Yeah.
it has been a challenge for me. And it has been, I'll see one video that gets 100,000 views, but then my next one that I post gets 1,200. I'm like, what the heck? It was the same
Right.
thing. And but I need to tell myself, no, it's not about the view count. It's not about the likes, comments, shares. It's about, all right, I posted 3 times a week.
Yeah.
That's the success. That's the win.
Right. It is hard because one of the things that I hear from people all the time, these are people that I are in my my sphere, I'll just call it that, people that we're all trying to
Right.
do the same thing. And I'm I don't know that I would consider myself an influencer, but maybe very small scale. I've got 18,000 followers, which is fun. It's fun to see that number, to see it grow. But um, the it's really easy to think, it's not working. And do you ever get um do you ever get to the point that you decide it's not working, or do you just power through until you start seeing the results that you want?
Yeah, and that is kind of a daily conversation I have with myself in my head. It's the little like angel devil that pops up on your shoulder, right? It's like, oh, you're
Yeah.
doing really good. It's like, no, you're horrible. You suck, right?
Right.
And but at the end of the day, I choose who I listen to.
Mm,
And there's consequences for good decisions and bad decisions.
right.
And so I can either choose to tell myself I'm doing fine, I'm doing good,
Uh-huh.
and I will go down that good road.
Yeah.
Or I can choose to tell myself that I'm doing bad, I'm horrible, and I'm in my own head about it. And it does suck as well. Especially my recent videos that have been doing good, like my coworkers have seen it. And so
Uh-huh.
they'll come up to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like you're a little influencer, blah blah blah." I'm like,
Right.
ah, ha, ha. Yeah, and then it's like self-consciousness of like, "Oh my gosh, like my coworkers saw it. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, people in my neighborhood are seeing this. Like, I I want people to see me, but I don't want my family to see me, you know?"
Right.
Like, and it's it is definitely a hurdle to get over, but I keep telling myself, nope, it's okay. I'm doing good. I'm doing good for who I am, what I'm doing. Just keep going, keep going. And
Yeah.
I always keep looking towards the good because I know good consequences are going to come from that.
Right.
Um, because I have fallen down the trap of not falling, but following the bad consequences of, for example, real estate. Like, especially when like we were just getting out of COVID and interest rates started going super high, like a
Uh-huh.
lot of people weren't buying and they're holding off. And you can blame it on the economy, or you can just suck it up, buck up, and and get her
Yeah.
done.
Because
And
people are still going to buy houses. It doesn't matter what the economy
exactly,
is.
exactly. And you can say the economy is horrible right now to buy a house, but
Right.
that's all about your mindset with it. And I think it's the same thing of like I went from selling, I dropped my sales about like 40% because of the interest rate change. And I was like, holy
Uh,
crap, this sucks. Like,
right.
this is a bummer. And, but again, like I fell down that trap of I'm not a really good real estate agent. I don't actually know what I'm talking about. Why do people even care? And when I started going down that trap, guess what happened? I didn't make my phone calls. I didn't
Uh-huh.
make my text messages. I didn't follow up with people, and my business suffered. And
Right.
I wasn't making sales, and um, and I relate that all back to my own poor mindset choices because a same agent in my same office did 40% more than he did last year, and the last year was a fantastic year. So it's all about mindset, in my opinion.
Well, I've brought this story up many times, and it's such a perfect story. And so I'll bring it up again. We create exactly what we believe. And so if we believe that the economy is bad and nobody's buying, then why even look for
Yep.
clients? Why even try? Because then you're just setting yourself up to fail. But always there are people buying houses. Always there are people changing jobs. Always there are people who are looking for ways to minimize their exposure or their time commitments or whatever. There are always opportunities. The opportunities may change. AI, for example, may create a change in opportunities, but
Yep.
it doesn't mean that the opportunities go away. So the example that I've used is Harry Houdini, who was uh, an excellent escape artist and bragged that he could escape from any jail cell. And the one that he couldn't, he tried and he tried and he sweat and he failed. The door was never locked.
Hmm.
And because he believed that it was, he didn't even think, because why would you? But he didn't even think to test the door to see if it's unlocked or to see if it's locked before he started. So as he's trying to unlock this door, it wasn't locked. So of course he can't unlock it because it wasn't locked in the first place. And so we have this. Had a previous guest on the podcast, James Malchak, who talked about, he called it possibility blindness. And if you don't believe something's even possible, then you're not even going to be open to the chance that it could be there. So, I love that reminder. So thank you for that. It was not
Yeah.
scripted. Come up.
No, that's great. I love that.
So what are a couple of your absolute favorite business plan ideas that you've created just because you love creating these business plans?
Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorites so far is actually just because I thought it was super interesting. It was hole in or golf. So like there's golf and then
Mm-hmm.
there's hole in one insurance. And so
Interesting.
these companies they'll be an insurance company for a day pretty
Mm-hmm.
much. And so let's say I'm going to go sponsor a hole in one. You get a hole in one, I'm going to give you $10,000. Well, what's going to happen if someone does actually sink a hole in one? It's not coming out of my paycheck. It is coming out of that
Right.
insurance company's paycheck. And I
Ah,
thought that was crazy. They go up to prizes all the way up to millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I
wow.
thought that is insane. That's so crazy. But those businesses are very lucrative because they will charge clients anywhere from $500 to 5 grand to cover that insurance premium.
Uh-huh.
And the chances of someone actually getting a hole in one is very, very slim. I think it's
Right.
like 1 in 12,000 or something like that. And so, um, but it's curious though, because you pay per hole per course. So
Okay.
let's say it's $500 and let's say a bigger company is sponsoring five five hole in one tournaments throughout the course of the year. Well, I mean, I mean, even if you charge $1,000, there's 5 grand right there just from that one company, and you're not paying anything out of
Right.
pocket.
Yeah.
So, and I just thought it was super interesting. So that's one of my favorite ones so far, just because it's such a weird
So
business.
niche,
It's
so
very
targeted.
niche. Yeah, and but the companies who are like getting the insurance, they actually get paid for it. So like they want people to sink a hole in ones. Like if I'm giving away a car, they'll be
Uh-huh.
like, all right, well, what's the price of the car? Well, it's MSRP price, which is typically higher than anything that the dealership will mark up. So like
Right.
they're getting paid full price for it. They're like, perfect, works
Yeah.
out. It's a win-win. So
I
yeah,
love that. Um, I could spend, well, this is me just maybe bragging a little bit, but I think I choose decent people to have on the podcast because I can spend hours talking to you. So
yeah,
next time
no,
I'm
that's
around
awesome.
Logan, we're going to hang out.
But yeah, and then another one of my favorite businesses as well, which actually was my first viral-ish video. It was the real estate sign install. And
Mm,
so like you pay or you charge real estate agents X amount per month and you go install their signs for them. And
nice.
like that's something that I pay for like, as a real estate agent. So I
Yeah.
thought it was interesting that I just put it out there and it kind of like blew up and people were like, "Oh my gosh, like help me do it. Help me do it." And I'm like,
Right.
just go do it, man. Like, here's the business plan. Like,
Right.
go have a heyday with it. So,
And you don't even need to do it yourself. If you have
mm-mm.
that business, you get the money from the real estate agent, then you hire a high school kid
Yep,
who will go
exactly.
out and put the signs out. And as long as you make sure that the work is done to the satisfaction of the person that hired you, you don't
Yep.
have to do the work. And back to my wife's friend that actually I was listening to somebody else talk about. I love cleaning, but I can't make a business because I have kids. Well, work around your kids' schedule,
Yep.
husband, partner schedule, whatever, or hire somebody else. You do
Yep.
the legwork and getting the clients, and then you hire out the actual work.
Yeah. And I think that's a very good point is that a lot of people that I've seen are like people will DM me and stuff and they'll say like, well, I don't know anything about this industry. Like, why should I even start? But it sounds super fun. I was like, well, you don't need to know anything about the industry. Being an entrepreneur just means you're a good manager. You just
Yeah.
know how to put people in right places, right? And not necessarily, I mean, clearly you do need to know the industry to an extent, but you just need to be a, a good manager of people and make sure that those people are doing their jobs.
Yeah. I heard something a week or two ago that I just absolutely love. We have two kinds of problems. Every problem is going to be a problem of lack of information or lack of action. And
Yep.
we treat most of our problems like they're information problems. I just need to research more. I need to watch another video. I need to Google or ask ChatGPT. But most problems are lack of action problems. We're not
Yep.
getting the job. We're not finding the clients, whatever it is, because we're not taking action. And
Yeah.
so,
And I totally agree with that. And anyone who's in sales at all completely understands that it is all about, if they're not making a decision, it is all about lack of information or lack of action. Exactly what you said.
yeah,
And I totally agree with that. And they're not going to act on something because they have two problems. They don't have enough information on, let's say, a house,
mm-hmm.
or the action is that they're afraid to move, or they don't have enough money, or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
But
But
yep,
the fear is not going to be resolved by more information. It might
yep,
actually create more fear because,
yep,
oh, I didn't realize the economy is this bad. Oh, I didn't realize whatever.
yep,
So
exactly.
I don't believe in bad economies, by the way. Just putting that out there. This has been a blast, Logan.
I love it, dude. Thank you so much.
If people want to learn more about you, if they want to check out your viral videos or connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, just on TikTok, just Logan Nielsen 72. You'll find me there. And if you want a business plan, it's just a link in my bio.
I
So,
love it.
yep, anything and everything is there on TikTok.
Yeah, I love it. I love helping people take action. One of the things that I've just had it's been really rewarding because my 18-year-old son says, Dad, you should not be on TikTok. But but one of the most rewarding things is when I get a message from somebody that has never talked to me and they say, because of your video, I had the courage to quit my job or have a conversation with my boss or ask for the promotion or whatever. And that's so I want that for everybody.
Yeah.
And so I love that you're doing that for people as well. So thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. This was an absolute blast.
Well, good. We'll do it again sometime. And
Of course. Yeah,
and
let's
we'll
do
connect
it.
when I'm in Utah.
Heck yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening. We will talk to y'all next week.
Get back to the work you love, where you face less stress, gain more happiness, and live into your purpose. Let me help you become unstuck and unstoppable so you can finally have the life you want. Head over to my website to connect with me at kenwilliamscoaching.com.